Let's check out what we got for Carthage. We have Datsun, Sai, and Vale. This three-player squad took the Tigers all the way to a Game 5, and honestly, they were on pace with them every single game except for the Game 5.
Yes, a very good point. It was all the way back and forth throughout that regular season until the very, very end. Missouri able to bring that one back from the brink. Dotson, Sai, and Vale making up this Carthage Firebirds Red squad. Let's go ahead, take a look at the Tigers at Missouri. This squad coming in to do battle. Virtual Rocket League pitch, Crims, Exodia, and OTSN. Got any advice on this one, MonkeyMan, OTSN?
I mean, for OTSN, I haven't seen them as consistently, but I think a lot of this comes down to Crims and Exodia that really will be dictating this. OTSN, I think, will be mostly just from the lack of me remembering how it was in literally week 7. I'm like, all right, what we got on the docket? But yes. I remember saying Exodia obliterate in a big Yu-Gi-Oh way last time that I casted these guys, so they're probably going to be very impactful in this series.
Entirely fair to, excuse me, that's entirely fair assumption on this one. OTSN, I was mostly asking, I'm not gonna lie, I was mostly asking for the pronunciation. If there was like an Otson or something like this that I was missing here, but OTSN it is, MonkeyMan.
I mean, you know, it'll work its way out. I mean, we could go with Otson. I mean, we could, what does OTSN stand for? What do you think? This overtime season name?
Overtime season name. I love it. I love
it.
OTSN, if you did not have a acronym for your name beforehand, well, you got MonkeyMan to thank for that one. You do now, my friend. Let's see if the naming here gives the Missouri Esports the name boost, the caster boost, whatever you want to call it here, to go forth and do something similar against Carthage Firebirds that they did during this regular season.
You know what? I think I found a better one. Well, otters take small nibbles because they have very small mouths. So, you know.
Makes sense.
Veiled.
Sting already, dude. Jeez, 6 seconds in. You can basically call this a kickoff mistake.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we'll give it over to, because 6 seconds, the average kickoff is actually about 7, so they do it a step faster, and I want to see what Mizzou will bring to Carthage, because this is a team that can just absolutely outscore and outpace the Firebirds. But the Firebirds were able to really keep this one dead even for a lot of their games in the regular season. Carthage has actually not lost a game in the playoffs, won by virtue of a forfeit, but they 4-0'd in that semifinal as well.
You better believe they 4-0'd in that forfeit as well. Didn't drop a single game, MonkeyMan. There you go. There's Crims now with the tying factor here. Memes aside, this Carthage Firebirds Red squad is very well equipped. They are firing on all cylinders as a trio so far. There's a whole other level of kind of mental fortitude that comes around with making an early mistake and then coming right back. What is this, 25 seconds later, MonkeyMan, to give them right back with the business.
And I believe that we're actually on the opposite side of the... So, yeah, so we're backwards on the overlay. So, you know, that'll be fixed here momentarily. So that does mean that Mizzou is getting back up in a big way. So maybe Frostbite was OTSN. So we don't have to worry about otters and their tiny nibbles. We just have to worry about the giant chunks that are being taken by the Tigers on these Firebirds.
Yes, we'll get those fixed here in a bit. The way I always operate, MonkeyMan, is until the graphic gets changed. Right? Like, there's no point constantly trying to remind people back and forth. But, yes, regardless, team in blue doing fantastic so far. Exodia and the rest of Missouri. Little demo action right here. A shot to the inside, and that's another tying factor from Vale.
We have 4 goals in 49 seconds, Tugboat. I think they saw that previous series and then just got... very wanton to get on the board themselves. Kind of a bit chaotic, and really just taking advantage of these fast placements, especially from the middle of the pitch. But I want to know how they're going to get some of this consistency with passing. Really hasn't been developed long-term style. It's really just been 1-2 connections and seeing who's ready for the reactionary goals.
Yeah, and that's the entire thing about playing reactionary as well, right? You have to be proactive in Rocket League. Like, they always say the best offense is good defense. Well, that's in professional football, folks. If you just spend all the time on offense, you spend all that TOP going your way, that time of possession, well, you're going to do well in the great game of Rocket League. This is decently centered. Sai is trying to find a nice, even bounce. Crims' better plans for this ball. Nice takeaway there from Vale right off the top as well, MonkeyMan.
Yeah, honestly, when I speak of Rocket League, I like to think that a stellar offense is an amazing defense because they just never get to move upfield. And it's much the same right now as the Tigers try to be able to sweep in and everything, it's all fixed up, not just on the field, but on the scoreboard as well. So everything reflective accurately. Psy is shutting down Crims in open waters. Frostbite looking to make that turn, and they just get outpaced. I don't think they had a lot to get around Otson at that moment, but still, Mizzou setting up. They have a 1-2 passing play. Frostbite just can't get underneath the crossbar.
That was about as close as it gets. A little demo action there from Crims to even up the numbers for them a little bit more. Frostbite intercepting this one across the middle. Crims going to easily pick this one up. A little 51 there. That was from, might have believe now that the corner Exodia Frostbite, realizing this one, cutting that right down his side. Stop that. It's as best that they can. Crims back against the corner wall. Frostbite against the top backboard and down bottom. Crims manages to find a way in edgewise, and third shot will yield the second goal for Crims.
Frostbite has been all over this backboard and all over this perimeter play here, Tugboat. As soon as they got way more involved, there's a level of consistency that the Tigers have now established upfield. Now, the last time that these two met, it was 3-2. That means no more scoring will happen. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. History might repeat itself, but there's a lot of time still left on the clock, and Carthage still looks like they want to head upfield.
There's a lot to be said for history repeating itself and whatnot, but this has been a high-flying and super high-scoring game thus far. A little bit less than halfway done, or a little bit less than halfway left, excuse me, in this game number 1 of this best of 7. And I gotta disagree with you. There is gonna be more scores in this one, more attempts and more pressure here. That's Exodia just trying to get this out of their box. Frostbite, a little bit of a better play in trying to meet it aside. Great job from Crims in an offense going the other way.
100 seconds to go, and you know that they're at least lurking. They're looking. They're gonna be opportunist if the idea be able to present itself. But at this point, Carthage has not gotten beyond this pretty tight wall of defense that Mizzou has put up at the midfield, let alone their own back half. Crims with a set piece over to Frostbite. It will be overran. Exodia will have to retreat, and they're just going to get around what is a soft musty from the low ground and then immediately turn. What a clearance lane here for Mizzou, and Crims tries to make the best effort on that. We're approaching 1 minute to go, Tugboat, and Carthage is setting these up.
Yeah, they are. They are. Not feeling so good about my prediction earlier, though. 60 seconds. I was going to assume 2 more goals at least. Crims coming up and loses the 50. Now, an attempted pass out to the middle. Frostbite puts this a little bit farther than the nose that he could sniff. Now, Carthage looks like they're going to be heading back the other way. No boost to be spoken of over here for OTSN. Got the sword there for the T as well. Want to wax philosophical about that one, do we?
It's the over sword. I don't know. I forgot all my names of my swords, but they're trying to be able to cut through regardless. Tigers, they're trying to at least give you an extra value to that prediction. But Carthage has just been started out stuck in the old nest, but that one's not stuck in the net. They get the dig out. Vale finds a save. Crims wants to put some consistent pressure, but we're approaching the 10-second mark. Carthage needs a goal if they want to send this to OT.
Yeah, that would be in a fantastic way. No caster bias, but we want OT. We want elongated best of 7 series. We want full game 7s. We just got one of those. There's a pop play up. This is dangerous. Exodia just completely willing to ground this ball out, and Missouri, as the claws out, sharp and fast early for a game 1 win by a 1-score difference. So it was not a one-sided affair by any means.
From the last time that these two met up, 3-2. I was half joking when I saw about 2.5 minutes to go and they hit 3-2 and that they wouldn't score again. Then they went and didn't score anymore. So wonder if 3-2 will be around the corner. The key difference, though, between the regular season and this one is that was BO5. This is BO7. So there's a lot more opportunities for both these teams to get on the board more.
A very fine point. I am 0 for 0 on Preds. Batting 1,000 right here. HailMonkeyMan, a shot over Exodia. Remaining strong here. Speaking of batting 1,000, Exodia was getting everything done on the offensive side of the game earlier in this first of this best of 7 series. Now showing up in the defense, HailMonkeyMan.
Trying to just get those deep dives if they can. Carthage has peeked into that back third. Psy has both at least an attempt, as well as some fans out in the chat that want to give them some of that extra value. Really, the fourth man, if you will. That's a huge find by Vale, who found one of those massive kicks that got them on the scoreboard to begin with. And Sai will cut off Dotson just to set them up again. But look how far back Vale is. This is not well. It turned into at least a try. They challenged for it and they slowed it down. But that becomes Exodia. Is that an own goal? No, it's gonna be a save.
Wow, okay, stretching space and time on that one. Frostbite getting the epic save against the teammate, I think, or maybe even their own shot. One way or another, it's like a kicker coming down and getting the tackle on their big booming kick, right? Always gonna love that.
That's exactly why you have those giant punters. What a save! Crims is getting bumped by Sai. Wow, just enough so they wouldn't be able to back up and find a better lane to go for it. This has devolved from Champions Division to Navigators in a very fast moment.
You gotta know the deep NECC lore to get that one, folks. The 2 minutes into this, and color me surprised. I gotta say, we had 5 total scores in game number 1, a decently high-scoring affair. We got nothing. Zilch. Donuts showing up right now, looking to turn that into a breadstick with Sai, but couldn't quite get the angle on that one, MonkeyMan.
Yeah, but you know, game ones, they're always kind of wily. They're always a little different. We had 4 goals in 49 seconds. I really think that kind of spells how both these teams were just chomping at the bit to get out onto the pitch. But yeah, this could end up in a 1-0 venture, depending on how some of these 50-50 clauses end up established late term defensively. Frostbite, no boost, looks for an outlet, gets it in the way and form of Crims, but it comes right back around. Nice redirect. And even without the pace that keeps the defense honest, Tigers have not been able to leave this cage.
Yes, yes. A shot on goal is always going to force the hand of a defender. This is momentarily taking not just boost away, not just forcing them to utilize one of the only finite resources within the great game of Rocket League. Also to have to reposition, force a rotation. That's a great demo. This is some pressure. As Vale says, pressure creates diamonds, Tug, but what are you talking about? Oh my god!
Well, diamonds may shine bright, but you know, I think these Grand Champs shine a little bit brighter. What a separation by Exodia, and they get that flip reset for the finisher. They flip themselves away from the wall, get separation, knowing the ball would hit the ceiling and drop straight back down to them. That's some extra calculations that I just can't accomplish at my age.
Yeah, cue the MonkeyMan gif a la Zach Galifianakis hangover with all the numbers in the air, just looking at the algorithms and stuff. And yeah, I don't get much from that. I do those calculations, I get the color green.
Oh man! Hey, I know how to count. Green, See, I'm counting. But for all the letters and numbers, there's no defense to be seen, especially even from the rip of that respawn. It ends up going straight through Frostbite, which is stellar control, making sure to finish what they started.
Yeah, and this is just off the back of Carthage pouring a little bit more, like that extra 15-20% in.
Drop back through for Vale as that one goes right through and in. Carthage finds a way, finds an MVP, and finds a moment for them to be able to get themselves on the board. This is starting to look very familiar, considering that we had a really fast start for both these squads and now being able to cut that lead in half.
Yeah, unsurprising that this remains a 1-score difference. So you got to the 2-score, the insurance goal, for all of a dozen seconds or so. Back and forth, that's how game 1 went. We'll see how if this one finishes and Carthage finds themselves in a similar situation where they're down by 1, pour it all in offense and find nada in the last 60 seconds.
This has been a rabid one here from Mizzou. They've been able to find a lot of these 1-2 plays in the box and then just kind of overload it. Crim's in an awkward position, but can rely on Exodia, and this is exactly what is that extra effort that gives such value to the Tigers. But finally, the box, at least more populated by the Firebirds. Flying right over, flying right in. Vale will burn some extra boosts as Crim sets up for it. It's going to go just into the hands of Exodia, and they're picking and pushing them from distance. They have to get some of these players out of the way from Mizzou.
Great job on the rotation here for Carthage. The immediate reaction. Oh, I was going to say the immediate reaction is just try and leave a single man back, maybe to deal with it. Get a long pitch pass down from your side of the field here, but as it is, two-score difference. Carthage, no reason to give this one up quite yet, but the writing may be on the wall, Monkey Man.
It's at least put in pencil. That's the kid that didn't want to get caught using maybe pen or paint. But eventually, there may be some extra graffiti that is there a little bit more permanently. Dotson finds it from the crossbar, and maybe one extra simply to keep the 3-2 history relative. I think this one will fall one short of that. The Tigers, they'll be finishing off game number 2. And they get themselves a nice 2-0 lead here in this series. Can Carthage get themselves in a better position, get a little bit quicker, because they cannot let the Tigers dictate this pace?
Yeah, game 3 here, you drop it, and forcing a full 4-game run on a situation anyone wants to be in. Carthage. No unfamiliar stranger to pressure here. That was looking like something beautiful right there. Fortunately, Missouri kind of reads this one out. They've checked out the book, and they like the author. Exodia on out to Frostbite, way too high, and then some interference on the defense. Missouri on the defense now.
Just reminded me that I think I made some goals for this year to actually read some books. Totally have not. Eventually, I may find a good author. I'll take suggestions from anyone, really anything, especially with that read. Oh, Crims, what a save.
I'll take reading suggestions from Crims when he's able to look up and down a defense like that and see exactly what's about to happen. I remember for a lot of my life, I thought like making goals was like mild cringe. Like, you know, like I'm just going to live my life, man, and go after the things that I want every day. Nah, that's stupid. That's stupid. Write down your goals. Go after them. You know what I'm saying? Review them at the new year. Part of this is my birthday is on New Year's Day, like actual New Year's Day, so I always thought it was silly to try and, like, you know, be like, oh, I'm going to change my life significantly in this way on my birthday, you know? But fact of the matter is, folks, you don't need it to be your birthday. You don't need it to be January 1st. You don't need those 2 days to be the same day either. You need to make positive changes in your life, right? I'm a motivational speaker for y'all.
You know what? Put everything that you just heard in the last like 30 seconds on a poster. I don't care how much text that font needs to go down. You're getting the positivity, and positive movement has been Carthage moving upfield. Now, the negative for them is that they could not get beyond the Tigers. They did keep them planted back, and that is something that was a pattern occurring from the previous game and onward. But eventually, Mizzou was finding a lot of value upfield, and they came away with 3 goals, and that seems to be the magic number. Dotson with a chance gives it over to that shot with Vale, who really has been the main striker for this Firebird squad, but no one's been striking on, well, at least through the net as of yet.
They really haven't. Exodia, Frostbite here on the defense. That's a huge kickoff there from Crims. A demo in the middle. Vale, that's on target. Exodia comes out of left field with a big boost behind. Get a save and a stop exactly was necessary. Now halftime right now, a little bit of dangerous looks, and Vale finally breaking the seal 5 seconds past halftime.
It took a while, and Crims took the best lane. Exodia much the same, but Vale just never left. They took a note out of making a goal for their life, maybe this year, or at least in this game, and they were inspired by Tugboat to be able to get through that goal line. So finally, Carthage grabs themselves a lead. It's been a while since they had it in game number 1. It was a brief venture then. Now, as everything's been opened, maybe the Tigers can strike back as well.
We'll see how this one goes. Missouri not wanting to lay down. That is a great attempt down bottom from Exodia, but no boost afterwards, and getting beat on the 50. Missouri goes to the defensive stance.
Crims to Frostbite. Cannot forget about Frostbite and how just clutch they were to really elongate some of the offensive plays. But it's Sai. I thought that one was collected. This was at the top of the box. Exodia, they confounded here, and then Frostbite just overcommits on that turn behind his teammate.
There you go. Keeping the offensive pressures alive here for the Carthage Redbirds as they spread their wings for their first 2-score lead. The insurance goal has been purchased, so my alert Geico little State Farm action.
It's in good hands right now, especially because Sai just comes screaming through, slaps you with an early premium, all paid off, and they make that an even stronger insurance position. Now, you know, Carthage, I was wondering where their offense went, and here it came.
Yeah, get all these Chiefs players off the commercial. Sai, there's your new spokesperson. Throw him in some khaki slacks. We'll sell a billion policies. Dotson coming out to this one. Down bottom, easily given away. Missouri just kind of looks at this, be like, well, they're scoring a lot. We want to do that too.
It's like me after I got hit by a deer last week, making good on taking advantage of that insurance policy and seeing what leniency comes out. I had a lot of repairs, and that actually made my car look pretty cool. Theirs look cool, getting that shot. Sub 100 seconds, but still a lot of time for Tigers to get right back into it. Oh, but what a bouncer! Sigh! I think that's a Hattie.
Wow, yeah, I believe it is. We'll check that one out for the confirmation. Veil to Sai. Sai actually getting like the wheels down on this. What do you call this angle?
I mean, he got bumped up to ceiling, and then immediately it just meteor striked down into a pinch with Veil. I don't even know. They just kind of pancaked down. So the new number is 4. Oh, from the crossbar and out, though, as that will just ring the gong.
Yes, it will. Back and forth. 3-score difference down here for Missouri. This is not only a situation they've not found themselves in before within this series, perhaps during the regular season. Also requiring, 20 seconds per goal, and that's just to tie it up. Not going to say it's over with yet, but again, fires are dwindling here for Missouri Esports.
Still trying to light a spark, but it's a wet wick, and it's not getting dried out anytime soon. Firebirds, though, red hot on the other side of things, and making sure that the Tigers are on notice that this is not a lame duck situation. They are coming in to be able to fight for this championship and get themselves into that Nationals position. 30 seconds remaining. Carthage has done all the work necessary. Simply need to put their name on the paper to get credit for it. And, I mean, Tugboat, looks like that we finally have a series on our hands.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. A back and forth. And Carthage not going to go so quietly into the night. The flames will not be extinguished here. 10 seconds to go. Yeah, this game is over with. What I'm looking at for the Missouri Esports and Carthage Firebirds red situation is thusly. MonkeyMan, it just seems like Missouri plays better when they have gotten the first goal, when they come off of kickoff or within like 30 seconds or so and get this, and they just play better.
Seeing if they can find first purchase on the goal line. It's to 2-1 right now. Mizzou is not up 3-0, just in case you guys are wondering.
Yes, Carthage will get their ditzel, the little dot, to correctly indicate this in just a couple of seconds. Now, it's interesting. I love your point. It is funny, but it is interesting. I think it speaks to teams that simply play better from behind in certain ways. Well, that's Missouri now playing from behind. We'll see how that prediction here from the tugboat take is gone forth and proven.
I mean,
true or false.
I mean, we also see how teams, maybe not in totality from an individual game aspect playing from behind, but series-wise, we got to see at a pro Rocket League level how a lot of teams at the major were playing down 0-2 in a series and then woke up. Now it's Mizzou, or rather Carthage, that's trying to be able to take that moment, but what a follow to take advantage of this kickoff rotation and get into the minds of Carthage that they now know how to strike again.
Yeah, and especially given this was like a decently long scoring drought from Missouri that has now been broken. We'll see how they deal with the floodgates and if they are opened up or if the dam is run dry.
The way upfield. And so far, Carthage hasn't really had great ball control. That's something that was missing in the first, or I guess rather the second game. First game was kind of all over the place. Second game ended up being kind of a drought for Carthage, and then it was returned in kind to Mizzou, who really just kind of boomer balled it. But look how often Carthage is just the last player to the touch. Exodia, off of some pinball antics, finds a lead.
There you go, 2-2, and I'm not talking about dresses. That is 2 shots, 2 goals there for Exodia, batting 1,000 here in game number 4. This is Missouri that was taking advantage from Exodia consistently getting insane shots like that. We saw the flip reset in game number 2. No surprise here that Exodia is getting it. Mixie again. Now from the side. A little bit of a tapper. This is going to go backboard and now out from Sai. Would have liked a much better hit on that one, MonkeyMan, but now down bottom. Crims almost gets this one served up on a silver platter.
Oh, and it's go the other direction immediately. what was such a sure thing has gotten so much faster. Veil has on the upswing. Oh, wow. I thought Exodius, much like me, didn't think that much speed would manifest that quickly. But simply off of a power flick forward, they're able to get it beyond them. So just taking advantage of an open net and then some midfield just dribbling that just happened so quick.
Once again, 2s and 2s. Veil, 2 shots, 2 goals here. We've seen the offensive juggernauts come out for both of these squads. See how these... Oh my goodness! Excuse me, Crims. I won't mention offensive juggernauts without saying the name of Crims again.
Crims kind of went to sleep and then just took on all 3, rope-a-doped them, and they're able to just tug them all around. All right, so Mizzou, this is a trend right back to game number 1 here, Tugboat. This feels like both these teams kind of went into this slumber for a little bit, and now they've recognized, all right, yeah, we love shootouts. Let's just start firing all cylinders and just go as fast as we can.
Absolutely, absolutely. The OK Corral is not in Oklahoma, people. Exodia almost gets a fantastic direction across the midsection, all by themselves as well. Missouri was cheating back, trying to get back into a more defensive position, and that is why Dotson had a relatively open net outside of the defensive interaction. Veil now coming up to it. That is just a player that did not have boost to get up to that one and reach the skies. Hopefully find something they like. Dotson, nicely done. Crims just really just maintaining like the cool, calm demeanor, you know?
Just trying to be, it's like a crispy cucumber if they can. And Firebirds, though, they need to start connecting a little bit faster because it has been a exponential reading effort that has just been at a different level for the side of Tigers. And even though they're only leading by 1, by this marquee separation of 3-2, which is the more consistent value that these teams always find themselves at, and it may be cemented thereafter. A touch on target, no. Sai doesn't come away with it, and that's actually something that's been missing this game, is really the big presence of Sai.
5 scores in the first 90 seconds, 0 in the second. Deja vu. Are we watching a VOD here, Monkey Man? This is exactly how game 1 went.
Yeah, it feels like it. The first 40 had 4. Now, as Tigers, they're putting it on ice, but not purposely. It looks like they're trying to get back to a double flip reset because reasons. Veil finds a defensive effort. That's a shutdown from the crossbar, and it's a foot race. Sai trying to just fake him out. Oh.
Alrighty, folks, the theme has been broken. We're on a new chapter now. Tying factor here. We've had several games that went down to honest, close to overtime situations. Well, 100 seconds, no goals. That's exactly where we'll be at. It makes sense, though. 2 here for the NECC Champs Finals.
You know what? I asked where Sai was. There he is. Exactly where they need him on the side of Carthage. Frostbite's going to have a flip reset. Been finding those in earnest. Multiples. Exodia to the backboard. They see their teammate bullying the defender, and yet they still elevate before they get bumped. That is a putback shot. Backside post. Found it by Dotson. Exodia is going to put this laterally to get Crims locked and loaded longitudinally. Frostbite on the commit. Wow, that was a gutsy decision.
Yeah, a tiebreaker almost coming in there for Missouri. Long, elongated offensive possessions here is kind of what's marked the last 4 minutes of Rocket League gameplay here on the day. See, this is just really going to be just an absolute slogfest, and whose defense will just be overworked, really. We've seen multiple shots getting put up back-to-back, machine gun, rapid fire here. I think that's going to be the result of our 7th goal here, and possibly the last for game number 4.
Dotson off that 50-50, and honestly, Carthage has come out the worst part of the majority of pressure cooker situations defensively, but that's just been for the first couple of games, and then as they have recovered, they want to prove otherwise. This is going to be a slow bouncer and actually may slow us just enough to give a long offensive final push for the Tigers. Frostbite all the way in this corner. It looks like they'll have last possession. They bring it out to open field. They have to chase us down because they need to get beyond Veil, and Veil loses out on that 50-50. This is bad for Carthage. Oh, but it's great for Sai. That one secured to the corner. What a heroic moment to make sure no shot comes about.
Overtime situation we go, round and round. Sai, oh, that's just a little bit to the outside, but that one ain't. Vale comes in for Carthage as we now have a tied series, Monkey Man.
The most scatterbrained kickoffs that I've ever seen, but it works out here for Carthage. They give 2 games, they get 2 games. We go game 5. It's all tied up. Starting to feel a little bit like the series I saw a little bit ago.
1-2. Now we have a completely clean slate on our hands. Back and forth we go. Where we stop, I do not know.
Oh, you know, we've talked about caster and production predictions. Well, one of our caster/producers is in the chat, and they say Mizzou wins game 5 by 42. There may be some leniency that could be wrong. Not sure. But I'm sure Carthage may take that personally. MichaelJordan.jpg. See how that comes around here in this first half minute of play, because Carthage is right now all over the Tigers.
Yeah. No 42 by any means, but Frostbite. Oh, if this is more centered to that left corner, this is a shot that was not going to be able to be blocked, but 40 seconds in, no scores on boards. I guess we're back to the game 2 and 3 script.
Just nearly, because it's that opening minute that's been crazy, and apparently if scores were taken from the crossbar and from the posts, maybe 42 would actually be a reasonable feature, but simply put, they're not able to get beyond those posts. It's just it's narrow goal syndrome.
Well, we talk about the 4th man. How about 4th, 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th, depending on how that top bar is going so far. Both of these teams just absolutely rocketing it against. That's, you know what? That's the next Rocket League mod, or like, LTM that I want them to do. The goal is like 15% larger.
Oh my goodness. It's just the whole wall. It's just Pong. It's just
there you go.
Oh, a moving net. That'd be kind of cool. All right.
That would be kind of cool.
I personally just want multi-ball. I just want like 2 or 3 like soccer balls all over. Don't ask me how ball like cam would work. I have no idea, but I want it. And at this point,
like
it's
a split eye thing. Like what's that actor that Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi with the just split in his eyes. Yeah, I could see that. Or maybe it's like a picture-in-picture, and you just have like multi-cams around.
Dude,
be a weird
there you go. Rocket
POV.
League in 2026.
As this game continued to evolve, so does the series. A passing play, Frostbite to Crims, looking for the dunk. He elevates just high enough, but it goes wide.
Yeah, this ball was just going a little bit too fast for that to matter, but speed is on Frostbite's side. About half time. 7 seconds outside of it, in fact. Frostbite finally finding the tiebreaker here between 2 teams that have gone back and forth across the games. This was Missouri early here, Monkey Man. It has been Carthage since, even if one of those games was a 1-score difference in overtime. But I still don't think this is any real difference between these 2 teams. Even if Carthage loses this 1-0, well, that's not going to happen. It's going to be 1-1 at least. I'm going to say even if one of these teams lose, of course, best of 7 series, still another game after this one to be had.
Oh, very true. This is 4 match point to simply have an advantage, which we've already seen is not a secure thing. If you got to see the earlier broadcast that did go to Game 7 after having an advantage in Game 6. And, chaotic goal, finding it off of your opponent as they bounce it through. And it's going to be up to the Tigers to just find kind of a even ground and a reset, because Carthage takes advantage of these chaotic moments. And once one goal opens up, we often get 4 more. Looking for that amazing 1-2 connection, but that's a handoff to Vale. That's going to be a cherry pick, and Datsun just was too many steps behind.
Yeah, just not able to climb the tree in time. Back to it. Dotson rotating perfectly on this one until the midfield interruption. Still the offensive pressure against Missouri continues.
All the way up. 100 seconds to go. This is where the tension really does build, Tugboat, because now as you're looking for that final goal, it could just be all of 2-1. Often these 2 teams have been able to score on each other, but you start to tighten up that defense. Looking for a moment is Frostbite, and they know that match point is around the corner. What a putback shot. Side sells out. It's going to be dropping down, and Crims gets it on the parabola.
Wow, yeah, this let's call this a right angle at the bottom left. I'm not 100% sure. Wall down, perfectly slotted. This goes in regardless, even without the Carthage player there. Obviously, if they're on the other side, he gets blocked out, but even without their insistence inside, there was nobody in the back. That still would have gone in regardless. So a technical own goal, but we don't count those against players.
Yeah, no. When you're forcing the defense to do that, you've taken all the value you needed anyway. So
Yes.
especially if it banks off a goalie who's streaking across. But regardless of that, we're at 105 and less. Carthage trying to get back into this game. They've done it before, looking to do it again. Frostbite gives it away. That's a demo. This is a single-man effort, but it's Crims who's on the backboard. If you're the Tigers, you can't let Carthage have those moments because they will try to take just secondary, tertiary shots.
Speaking of Frostbite, kind of coming over the top to interrupt the momentum and correct angle the Carthage player was looking for. Crims now from the heavens. Spinning, twisting, and turning, relied on a demo there from Dotson, and it's Exodia with the insurance goal. Something tells me we just watched the last goal of this game, number 5.
Yeah, if there's going to be another one, it will either be just a bonus goal for the Tigers or Carthage fighting, maybe fruitlessly, but still desperation will come about for the Firebirds as they have to fight into this final half minute of play. They've had chances, they've had expositions of being upfield, but will it be enough? They have to find something in the next few seconds if OT will be reasonably in the near future.
This might be even worse. Down bottom, Frostbite takes a big bite out of the defense on this one, and we are now without enough time to continue this series for the Carthage Firebirds Red. Missouri takes a lead in this series yet again, 3-1. Yep, that's where we're going to be finishing this one out at as the Tigers strike back here in game number 5. Match point for the first time here. It's coming on in.
They got Devon, and that was it. They may not even get a chance at that ball. But has Carthage, have the Firebirds run out of gas? They need to find a spark. They need to find something that can get them beyond Mizzou, around them, and force a game number 7 because championship point is now unlocked here for the Tigers. Mizzou looking to make this a much shorter season. They can do it here in this game 6.
A short season extended almost all the way, the entirety of it. But either of these teams should feel entirely happy that they made this far here within incredibly competitive NECC. Regardless of who goes forth takes down this series right now, the writing on the wall is Missouri. There ain't no scorers here in this game number 6.
No, not at all. No, this opening minute often kind of dictates how deep it goes before we eventually get our first scores too. If I've seen a slight pattern with this. If we don't get a score in the first minute, we ain't getting one until minute 3. That's
no, it is not happening, dude. I'm telling you.
Oh, hey, there we go. All right, so the first one does come on in. Good old This Is Rocket League out of Frostbite. Dotson trying to just simply go find it, and their car just never got a good touch.
Yeah, never made contact off of the wall like that, and especially given how this is such a high-risk, high-reward play. Like turning 180 degrees and trying to hit this, come off of wall so you hit the ground running and then have possession. Like, again, high-risk, high-reward. Dotson, unfortunately, doesn't even touch this one, just puts it right into the breadbasket of this Missouri player. As it is, as the first one here, players still back. Great challenge there from Exodia. No need to stretch the field, get all the way back to your defensive side if you can just interrupt this in mid-pitch.
This has been a ramped up offensive out of the Tigers. Really haven't allowed Carthage to even play the game how they want or even get involved. That's a big demo though. Crims out of the picture for the moment. And yet Exodia has really been the sure thing. Hot-handed, and sure-handed. On the other side though, Carthage has to rely on a contention to get a pinch. Crims off the sidewall. They know that someone's lacking boost, and this in the way of Dotson. He won't find it in that corner, so now this is going to be a thinner advantage offensively, but the midfield boost comes in clutch, and Vale's going to look for one extra. The bait doesn't pan out, and Exodia keeps them planted at midfield onward.
Shot over. There you go. Carthage shot across the bow. Missouri has gotten the message. Carthage still in this one. Good attempt at this one. Sai probably should have just let Vale go forth and cook. The player has gotten, should say, hat trick on the day and scores in almost every Carthage game outside of course, that game 2, even the solo goal for Carthage game 5, off the back of this player.
Bit of extracurriculars going on in the back end, I believe, there, as Dotson didn't want to get punched in the mouth, but they're going to show him how that is handled. But Carthage still can't even find their way beyond this goal line, as has been Tigers just tooth and nail in front of them. They have championship point already unlocked. They have championship goal in front of the Firebirds, and they're simply not letting them in.
Zodio stretching on this one. Was that ball the correct trajectory that they needed there? Crims was, if they got this a ball over, this was open net territories. Now Vale, exactly where they need to be. Carthage has stretched the field, so they do have a defensive player back, of course. Now this is heavily cornered out. Exodia decently centered, but yeah, that should be Dotson. Not going to miss 2 of those in a row.
Minute and a half to go. This is the sweat fest. It's going to drop out into open hexagons, Tugboat, but right now Carthage, nothing's been free. There has been a player every single time, and yes, Sai! This is the one they were trying to cut through at the midfield line. Make sure to just narrow that space instead. Vale bodies it, finds a moment, and they get this tied.
Yeah, and this doesn't happen without Vale coming in for the continued effort after putting the ball in a primo position here. A huge shout out, I mean, a great shot on the goal, of course, but huge shout out to Vale for setting this one up. 3 saves, a couple of shots attempted, plus the assist. Vale continues to be just the dynamic player that this Redbird squad needs them to be.
Oh, and that's a free net. Can Dotson secure it? No, they didn't have any extra boost. Relied on getting some wave dashes and some small pads the other direction. Exodia, flip reset. They're going to try for the double. Crims is already elevated. It goes crossbar, and there's not a blue car streaking over for the Tigers to try and take advantage of the chaos, and yet the defense recovers just fine. Frostbite wants to get into the head, but they can't get into the net.
Yeah, the pack hunting solo on that one, I guess. This was the best look that Missouri has seen this game and possibly most of the last game as well. Again, a game that they won 3-1. That this was, and when I say open, I mean like they purchased a fantastic situation right there. Here's another one. The tying factor broken for Missouri Esports. The Tigers have champed down onto this lead for 15 seconds. Will they be able to hold it?
Dotson sold out to try and get that touch. They thought that would be the moment that they could break the ice, and instead it was, but just for the Tigers. Overran it. Exodia gonna give it to Vale. Vale gonna try and crush it here from the kickoff, looking for the dunk, the takeaway. We've got less than 10 seconds to go.
5 now. 000 is coming up. An attempted volleyball type situation. Last bounce. No, Dotson. Oh my God, that is heartbreaking for the Carthage Firebirds Red.